Good morning and how do you do, ladies and gentlemen? I'm your host, Seth Julian, welcoming you to today's special morning briefing, or morning coffee, where in recognition of the upcoming Earth Day, we're going to discuss 18 stocks available here on our platform that are in some or another green or good for environmental alternative energy purposes. There's a lot of them, so we're going to just run through them one at a time, starting top left, working our way down, up, down, down, down. So we first start with ThyssenKrupp. These people make they make ThyssenKrupp an enormous conglomerate. They make a million things. For our purposes, and let me say in a general way, some of these are giant conglomerates that make many, many things, not all of which are highly green related. Others of them make things that are on their face not at all, and yet they're making an attempt to green up what is a traditionally in industries that have traditionally an enormous carbon footprint. So we'll get to those as we go. ThyssenKrupp, for our purposes, makes wind turbine materials. The mechanics involved in the spinning of those giant turbines are not sophisticated, and ThyssenKrupp makes those. ThyssenKrupp, of course, is made on the Deutsche board. We move to Siemens. These people make smart infrastructure and energy systems. Again, they make a million. They make train locomotives. They make dynamos, generating plants. They make a million things. But for our purposes, again, they make smart infrastructure and energy systems. So that's a good stock as well. And ThyssenKrupp changes, of course, Siemens, on the boards all over the world. Next, we have Veolia. Veolia, a giant French, this shows in the Euronext, a giant French conglomerate, mostly dealing with water, waste solutions, power generation, and energy management. A great stock, one of the greener stocks, and a great contributor to world energy supply. Nordex generates the global wind power firm. These people put in and manage wind power establishments all around the world. Next, we move on to RWE, the giant German power generator, and you can see their stock is doing well given recent energy dysfunctions in Europe. So RWE is a green energy provider in Europe. We move to EDF. EDF makes renewable energy. This is an interesting firm. While they focus on solar and wind, also focus on energy recycling. They have systems where they can recapture energy from the smelting process. Again, steel manufacturing is notoriously carbon-intensive procedure, and EDF works to clean that up. Next, we move to Schneider Electric, which is having a difficult time. Schneider's energy management and commercial and residential installations particularly, rather than industrial. And so they've had a difficult time because the commercial and residential markets have been hammered because of the explosive gas prices. But in general, is an excellent green company because they help commercial and residential properties manage electricity, particularly that they generate and flow back into the power grid. First Solar, probably one of the world's leading solar manufacturers in the world. And one of their geniuses is not only, for the photovoltaics, but First Solar is a leader in metering. They are the people that put in the metering that allows non or private generation to sell that power back into the national grids. We move on to Iberdrola, the giant Spanish renewable energy generator, also not only Spanish, world leader. Next we have Canadian Solar, and Canadian Solar is solar plant element assembly. They are the people who assemble these giant mirrors or the focus mirrors on the heating towers, the wiring, the control systems. That's what Canadian Solar does. Then we move on, of course, to the darling of the world, and they make, of course, electric vehicles and batteries. And that's really what I want to focus on here, is the Tesla battery contribution to the green revolution power, because without batteries, solar and wind are not going to cut it. Unless we get battery technology that's sustainable, large, and industrial, we're not going to be able to have toast generating electricity from solar power. In my estimation, and we don't have any of these corporations because they're very few and far between, although they will return, is nuclear power. That's for another discussion. Nuclear is not an intuitively clear choice, to be honest. They make concrete and aggregates. Between steel and concrete, they're the largest carbon polluters in the world. Traditionally, concrete production, well, how do you make concrete? You cook lime. And if you go by a concrete plant, you'll see usually huge smokestacks bellowing smoke. Lafarge and our other, we have a couple of them. We have Unibuzz and Heidelberg Cement. These companies are working very assertively to clean up the concrete and aggregate industries. So that's why they're on our list, and they're actually doing more than their fair share to clean up the carbon intensity of concrete manufacturing. Saint-Gobain trades on the Euronext. These people make glass and smart insulation. Photoelectric cells, solar generating fields are all involve glass. And again, that's unfortunately a highly carbon intensive process, but Saint-Gobain is a key player in reducing the carbon footprint of the glass manufacturing process, as well as contributing a great deal of glass to the alternative energy industry. Then we move on to Sma Solar. These people make photovoltaic cells, the classic photovoltaic cells, and you should know that they're all making a tremendous effort to reduce what is generally not understood to be enormous carbon footprint for the creation of photovoltaic cells, because they're not made out of sand, as we normally think. They're made out of a high grade of silicon and coal. It's burnt. So they're doing their share to reduce that. We went to Heidelberg Cement, which again is a concrete and aggregates firm, global in scale, and they're doing their share to reduce. Same with Unicor. Now this is an interesting firm. Unicor makes control catalysts for batteries and photovoltaic cells. As you're probably aware, the chemistry in photovoltaics and batteries is not simple. And so these people produce some of the chemical catalysts that are involved in transforming light into power. We then move on to, I'll just move this, excuse me one moment. This, of course, is, yes, Buzzi Unichem, concretes and aggregates as well. And then we have, finally, Deco, which is polysilicon manufacturing. That's the actual element involved in the production of the photovoltaic cell, and they also manufacture photovoltaic cells. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a little longish for our usual session, but this is a roundup of the assets that we have here at Alvexo, trading in the green energy sector in recognition of the upcoming Earth Day. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to leave it at that and wish you all the ability to trade with confidence. Bye-bye for now, ladies and gentlemen.